really in that big of a mood to make a video. Testing. Okay. What's funny is I just made a video yesterday saying that, I could be quitting. And that video just all of a sudden blew up. And, if I was ignorant, I would think it's because I made a good video and that's the reason why it got a bunch of views. But no, it's just the algorithm. The YouTube algorithm detected that I was gonna quit. And it was like, oh no, we can't have people leaving. We better give him a couple of views. So he keeps trying, So that's what happened. So yeah, that is all for one video. Possibly quitting. And then it went back to like two views an hour. So yeah, dude, look at that. No views. And then all of a sudden, 2,000 views. No views. And then eventually that video is not going to get any. Well, that's what it shows you, that big. And now it's not getting views anymore. I literally gained like 30 subscribers yesterday because that video was actually promoted by YouTube. I'm not in the greatest of mood to make a video right now, but I did want to talk about like growing out of things. Like I was gonna have flashbacks. I was gonna be nostalgic about like the time that like I made a bunch of gaming YouTube channels, and like I just sat there and played match after match after match of various video games. I had like 5 channels playing different video games, and I played match after match after match. I was making all these video game commentaries and stuff, and none of them got any views. It was terrible. So I was basically just sitting here for hours and hours and hours, eating up the large majority of my days, day after day after day after day, just making videos for all these different channels. And none of them grew. None of them got any views. And again, I have a tendency to have these really nerdy hobbies, so what little viewers I would get would be all men. So, I would look at my analytics and it would be like 99% men. And, you kind of start to realize something, you must have a very specific demographic of people, and it's these men, these antisocial nerds who are obsessed with these dorky video games and other hobbies. I just realized that one day, and I was like, wow, I'm a dorky nerd surrounded by other dorky nerds. And a lot of those video games, I grew out of them. Like that, again, that's the whole point of this video. Like, you start to see the video game for what it is. It's just like really basic and stuff. And there was really nothing there that was mesmerizing. So, like, when I look at movies and cartoons and video games, and, a lot of times they're like really futuristic and exciting, and they have all this interesting designs and music. It's entertainment. I can appreciate good design and creativity, but you start to realize that there's really nothing there behind that. Sure. I mean, there's nothing there. So, like, I have the attention span of a goldfish. If, like, I'm watching a movie, I can only watch it for a few minutes. And I can appreciate it for those few minutes, but then I'm like, I don't care about these fake characters and story, and I just So I'm sure there's a lot of people who are experiencing a lot of this entertainment for the first time growing up, and they're mesmerized by the designs, the gameplay mechanics, the story, the atmosphere, it's so amazing because it's brand new to them. And when I reflect back on all the video games and all the stuff that I thought was really cool, the large majority of it, like, I'm like, oh my god, I really was like mesmerized by this. Like this stuff literally mesmerized me. And it's always like this. And it's, you see people getting all hyped up and caring about stuff all the time that actually is just stupid. And in a couple of years, nobody's gonna care about it. And it's no longer gonna be a big deal and nobody cares. It's definitely that way with a lot of stuff. And sometimes stuff can last longer than other stuff, But at the end of the day, most stuff usually gets replaced. And again, like, after you experience it, after you do it, after you like see the results, and you realize it wasn't that good, upon reflection, you realize just how much of a waste of time it was. So it's again, like, some of you guys have been saying, like, all I ever do is tell people to work out, and that video games are stupid, and that junk food is stupid, and it's true. If you follow that advice, you'll be in a lot better shape. You'll be able to focus on productive things, and your life will be a lot better. It's true. Do I still play video games? Do I still eat junk food? Do I still stop working out and gain weight? Yeah, I do. Because you just basically slack off. The next thing you know, you spend all day, obsessed over unproductive garbage. And again, being productive a lot of times is not very fun. I mean, there's people out there that just go to work every day, they make money, and they come home and they don't know what to do with themselves, So they just buy a bunch of junk that they don't even have time to use. And then a lot of times they fall for schemes and invest all their money and lose all their money, because that's their life, So there's all sorts of stuff, and I think most people are very boring, uncreative. They just go to work every day. They have money, and we see on these social, Instagram and TikTok, a lot of people have realized, hey, if I work out, I can be in really good shape and look like a celebrity, and they can make selfies and try to get attention. And I'm pretty sure you can barely make any money on TikTok, and again, all of this stuff is so random. I really do think, like, the algorithm a lot of times there's certain things you can do to trigger it, but when you see, like, it just, like, gives you a couple of thousand views to give you that dopamine, and then it just cuts you off, and then it goes off and gives somebody else a dopamine fix. Okay, we're gonna give this video a little bit of attention. He's gonna get a couple of thousand views, and people are like, wow, look, you did it, wow. I didn't do anything. The algorithm just gave me a couple of thousand views out of nowhere. It's literally like, you're just pulling a lever. Please recommend my video. You never know. So again, it's frustrating. Some of you guys are like, oh, I'm just so negative, I have a victim complex. No, I'm complaining because I realize the algorithm is a bunch of trash. You never know if you're gonna get a couple hundred views or a couple thousand views. But there's definitely ways. Like, I don't want to be thinking about this, like, how can I appease the algorithm? And it makes me think back about all those other YouTube channels I made, where each video only got like 100 views if I was lucky. And that's because the algorithm did not want to promote the videos that I was making. So if I knew that the game was rigged and that YouTube was never going to promote those videos, I could have saved myself a lot of time. So again, I tell you guys, if it's not working, stop doing it. Because, you know, if you make videos for like 6 months, a year, and your channel's just getting no views at all, none of your videos are being recommended, it's not gonna get better. It's not gonna get better. So the only thing I can think to do is to come up with totally different types of videos. Like, drop everything that you've been doing and try something else. Because again, insanity is doing the same things over and over again, expecting different results. It's true. So, again, I noticed that all of my videos were attracting these dorky nerds. You know, and I realized, like, I really should try to, like, do something totally new that would attract, like, a female audience. Obviously, this is not going to attract a female audience, but it's something that's just, you gotta realize that, like, there's so many groups, there's so many niches, there's so many hobbies, that, like, it's just like all of the same types of people that think the same way, obsessed with the same little hobby. It's terrible. It's terrible. I've seen some crazy YouTube channels where it's just like the most psychedelic, that's the best way I can describe it, like psychedelic, brain dead stuff. And it's just huge. It's just huge. People love it. So, yeah, this, it's again, the main point of this video is just like, what was the main point of this video? It was about thinking back about, like, all those different things that I worked on that didn't go anywhere. And again, realizing that, like, you're hanging out with, like, a very specific type of people. And I just really hated that. I really hated that. That you could literally, it's a demographic. It's like, once you, like, see it, you're like, oh my god. Like, I'm a nerd. I'm a dork surrounded by other dorks. And again, one of the interesting things is, once you fully understand something, typically, a lot of times, you're no longer mesmerized by it. I call it confirming and locking into place. Confirming and locking into place. I remember this one video game I used to play, and you had to confirm things. You had to agree to things, and then the other person would also agree, and it would confirm, lock into place, and then the transaction would occur. Like, if you were transferring items and, resources between each other. And it's like, so many people get mesmerized by these different variables, these different things, these different attributes. There's so many things to consider, and you kind of just think about it all the time. And once you figure it all out, it's no longer mysterious, it's no longer mesmerizing. And that's when you confirm it and lock it into place. You have a good foundation, a good understanding of all of these variables. And once you get to that point, it's really interesting, It's really interesting, really interesting. So, my last video got 2,000 views. This video's gonna probably get 200, 250, maybe 300 views. It's gonna be a complete waste of time, you guys. But, I just remember, like, all the YouTube channels I've made in the past about different things. Tons of different things. Different niches, different communities, different subjects that are no longer relevant, that I don't care about at all. That when I reflect back on it, I'm like, did I really care about any of that stuff? That's sad. That's, like, all of that stuff was so dumb. What a waste of time. It's fun to think about. And, like, again, like, if you buy a lot of stuff and you don't like it and you return it, that's kind of like what I'm talking about as well. Like, ooh, something new comes out, I want to try it. Oh, it's not that great. You take a note so you don't buy something similar again. You kind of learn from it. It's kind of learning from all of those things that used to mesmerize you, that you used to think was cool, only to realize like it didn't have any value, or that you figured it out and it wasn't really that interesting after you figured it out. So again, when you're new to stuff, it's all mesmerizing and stuff, and then you start to realize, hey, you know, it's got its limits. You know, it doesn't matter how cool the game is. If you're leveling up a video game character, you're wasting your time. You know, doesn't matter how cool something is. It's just a gimmick. It's just a novelty that's gonna wear off. It's terrible.